is
And do we talk to each other?
We talk to
Okay,
each other.
cool,
Yeah.
cool.
If you want to say something direct to the audience,
That's our camera.
That's our camera.
Yeah, and we're streaming live on the iPad.
the iPad, yes.
Perfect.
We got it.
Yay!
Yay!
My little mermaid.
Here you are. Oh my gosh, exciting. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So excited to have you on.
I'm happy to be here.
Yay. All right, let's start with you introducing yourself, who you are, what you do, all that.
All right, well, I am Miss Tosh. I am a burlesque dancer, producer, designer, artist. Wear a lot of hats.
Love it. She
I
does it all.
I run the showbiz.
Truly. Yeah, I had heard of your name for like years.
Oh, shoot.
And
yeah. Okay.
So I was about to say when I started performing for you, but then I realized it was when I filled in for you that I met you.
Yeah, that was kismet.
It was a wild experience and so much fun. And I was so honored to get to momentarily like fill in for your shoes.
Yeah.
Fill in your shoes.
Yeah. Fill in a lot more than shoes.
Yeah. Full martini glass and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so many questions about your whole history and how you got into burlesque.
Sweet.
I know this is like a family lineage thing, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I began my entertainment career, I guess, started in childhood when I was a dancer. Okay. I was a dancer for Debbie Allen Dance Academy.
Oh.
So my first visual of what burlesque could possibly be was a video Debbie Allen showed us of Josephine Baker topless dancing in a banana skirt.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God, this is scandalous. Debbie's showing us this nude dancing. And she was
fully topless?
Yeah, because Josephine was in Paris, so she'd be topless in the banana skirt with the beads. Like it was fantastic. And I was just like enamored and enchanted by Josephine Baker. But I grew up in LA and Venice Beach. My parents are creative by like hobby, but it wasn't like in my family that I knew this was such a deep part of my history until I started performing.
Really?
So I began dancing in a strip club when I was in college to pay my bills.
Oh my God.
Then I found the drag community in Chicago.
Amazing.
And began developing the early stages of what might possibly be a burlesque number. It was just more like club kids doing what we did in the snow in the gay bars. And so I was experimenting with that. And then I really started going, oh, like the Josephine Baker, the glam bombshell, I'm coming out and I just want to merge all my fascinations together. And I had this strong impulse towards burlesque just as a fun hobby. But then my career took off because of I don't think just because of the act I was creating, but the message I was standing for as a really out gay burlesque dancer when there weren't many at the time. Wow. And I hit a lot of pushback. And then I invited my parents to see my act separately. And they were like, this is in our family. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
and then so that sent me from like 21, 22 down a deep research into my family legacy. And burlesque history goes deep into both my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family. So it was almost like fate that I would carry on this legacy.
Oh my God.
And then I started the show we're in at that theater because my great-great-grandmother performed there. So that's a little bit like a general story, but the roots go far and deep with a lot of different relatives.
Yeah, I didn't realize that both sides of your family.
Yes.
That's crazy. Did like your grandparents or great parents meet in the theater, or was it
it's possible, but it's hard to know because most of that history is spoken.
Okay.
So the things that I found initially was I found an article about my dad and my dad's side. So it was my great-great-grandmother was called Maisie Evans. And the Banjo Boys. And so she started in Chicago, which is weird that I would end up in Chicago too, because I had no idea I had family ties to Chicago.
Wow.
So she started in Chicago and she traveled all around. She was in Minsky's. She was in all the big shows at the time and then ended up finishing her career in LA and moving to Venice Beach in the
Oh my
beginning of
gosh,
Venice
no
Beach.
way.
So she was known for her performance partner was like the handlebar mustache strongman, and she would do all the acrobats and on Venice Beach. So that whole trope comes from her.
God.
And so she had one of her like final performances at the Globe Theater after it opened. And so I have this article I found just like in public record. It was amazing, and lithograph pictures of her. I have one photograph of her in her strongman act. It's amazing.
That's
very
wild.
Cool. And then that led my mother to go, oh, well, on my grandfather's side that we have a great aunt who is called Betty Healy. And so she was married to Ted Healy, the creator and founder of the Three Stooges.
No way.
And so she was in films with Laurel and Hardy.
Oh my
But I was like, well, how would she get into this, right?
Yeah.
So if she's my grandfather's aunt, like how would she have gotten into this? So his parents, or I guess grandparents, so that would be my great grandparents, were vaudeville stars in the Midwest. And so they had a theater. My great third, so three greats. Grandfather was a vaudeville choreographer.
Wow.
And had a dance school. And then his wife was Violet. She had a different stage name, was St. Clair, and Gracie St. Clair, and she was a vaudeville star of that time, 1800s. So you think the big hats and everything, and like very like My Fair Lady, you know?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. So they were really.
They had the theater still exists. It's a public theater now. I have to go there. It's in Pittsburgh. I have to go see it. I found a drawing of it.
Oh, that's so cool.
And just want to know how they got into it. But then the history kind of gets really muddy because there wasn't a lot of public record.
Right.
So it goes through a lot of like lineage and story. So I have to go to that theater to find deeper. I'm sure they have information.
Oh my God. It's almost like you're on this little treasure hunt.
Yes. And it's just so fascinating that my parents would have not really known too deeply about this history, or wasn't something that interests them. They're very much like surfer beach bunnies. So of the like 80s and 70s, and they're like living their like Beach Boys fantasy, and so they're not really interested in this era.
Right.
And so for it to be like such a deep rooted passion and fascination for me, and then to just like passively go, oh, this is this weird stuff you're doing. This is this like old timey stuff that's been in our family, I guess. And I was just like,
my God.
I was like, okay, surfer bros, like what? And then I learned about it, and I was like, wait, you guys, and I've really shown them the history, and they're like, oh wait, that's really cool.
Wow.
And it's given everybody a deeper appreciation for really what I'm doing, because I'm really digging up all of our history and shining a new light on these people, and kind of interesting that these two lineages found themselves through the work that I do. And it makes so much sense why me and my sister are in entertainment, and so passionately drawn towards it. It's wild.
Okay, your sister is in it too.
My sister is a DJ and a painter.
Oh,
an artist. She's a very like the rave girl version. Like we look so much alike, but she's like the rainbowed hair, tattooed girly. She's way cooler than I am.
No way. You guys are both cool, just different.
I'm like the traditional boring one in the family. It literally verbatim by what my father says about me.
Really?
He goes, well, you're the tradition.
That's crazy. I don't think anyone would look at you and be like, oh yeah, she's traditional.
When he said that to me, I was like, that says a lot about all of you.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I'm the boring one, if that's possible.
That's wild. Well, that just says a lot about how
my family.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, guys.
Wild. That's insane.
Yeah, so it's a very cool, and I feel such an obligation and an honor to do what I do, and then the work that I've done has really, like, why I've committed and stayed with it for so long is because of my lineage. I feel a sense of purpose with doing it, and I feel like such a karmic like how did I find all of this? It feels like a deep purpose.
Yeah.
And then also I'm just such a obsessed with burlesque history.
Right.
For that, and it means so much. Like if I didn't find that history, it would have died and nobody would have known. And so I feel such an obligation to really recording in my like free time. This is like a deeper sense of purpose, recording not just only my history but burlesque history in general.
Wow.
And just knowing why this art form was created, where it came from, who the people were that originated the concepts that we love and reinvent today. And so where did that all come from? It's my obsession.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to ask, and I was like, I wonder if she knows, because I don't know.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Do you know like when burlesque originated?
Yeah. So it was in the 1800s.
Okay.
So burlesque evolved from vaudeville, right? So vaudeville didn't involve like the stripper, the chorus girls, right? And so at the turn of the century, the stripper became kind of the highlight or the new gimmick in a burlesque show. But a burlesque show, the stars were the comedians.
Right.
Yeah,
yes, I knew.
the comedians, which if you think, Walt Disney was deeply inspired by burlesque. So you think about Timon and Pumbaa are like the archetype of burlesque comedy. You know, like what's called the straight man in the comic. So having the taller, taller, neutral person and the shorter comedian. Yeah. That dynamic, which you see modeled in Disney all the time, is from burlesque comedy.
Oh my God.
And so you think about the time when Walt Disney grew up, those shows would have been very popular, right? So that kind of was his well he was drinking from, right? When he was inspired by that. So it's made such an impact. Things like Laurel and Hardy, the Three Stooges, all of those things were really the root of the stars why you would go to a burlesque show. And then the cherry on top is like the stripper, right? And that is where the word stripper comes from, is burlesque.
Really?
It's not a burlesque dancer. It is a burlesque show. There's the comedians, there's the chorus girls, and there's the stripper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so now what we think of with the word burlesque is we think burlesque stripper or burlesque dancer.
Right.
So people are very like misinformed when they separate the word stripper from burlesque, because really it is the burlesque stripper.
Oh my God.
And then the strip club stripper came much later on. You know, which was then the fusion of circus pole dance, and the go-go girl, and the stripper all merge into what we now know as the modern strip club dancer.
So
or pole dancer,
So burlesque dancer stripper came before club stripper. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
That is wild.
So poles were brought into the go-go bars, and like what you think, like the mini skirt was invented, the bikini. So burlesque shows took a huge nosedive. People weren't as enticed to go see the stripper because you could go to the beach and see bikini girls for free.
Oh, okay.
And then you had more liquor and more of a desire for the kind of go-go bar dancer, right? And so they put the poles in as a way to keep the drunk girls from falling off the bar.
Oh my
But then you had circus sideshow performers who were then like, but wait, we got tricks.
Yeah.
And that evolution built into the 70s, 80s, and all of that.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, so strip club strippers, they're 70s, 80s, that's when they...
No, they came much earlier, but I think the 70s and 80s was when like the strip club really met its like height.
Okay.
Yeah, like I feel personally, like I think that the whole like 60s, 70s, 80s evolved into what we now know as the strip club, right?
Yeah.
And so again, being such like a history nerd, when I'm dancing in a strip club as a pole dancer, like I had to know everything about it. And I was like, we're in this amazing theater in Chicago, and like this theater had to have been a burlesque theater, but now it's, so I had to research the whole theater I was in. I stripped.
I love that you had to.
I had to know. Yeah, and I had to know because I'm like, well, I need to know why and where and how this came to be. And so the club that I was in is called the Admiral Theater in Chicago, and it was originally a burlesque theater because it was beautiful. It had like the whole stage and everything. And then then I'm asking the manager, like, oh, like this place is huge. What else is in here? And he took me upstairs. He goes, oh, well, in the 70s and 80s, it turned into a porn theater. And then we became a strip club. And then we became, and I was like, see this whole like level of shift through time, but everything's enmeshed and And even the Globe Theater was
Yes.
originally a burlesque theater,
Okay.
and then it transitioned into a porn theater.
A
And
porn theater.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
heard of
It was a
this
porn
word
theater. So
before.
the current
Okay.
owner's father bought it when it was a porn theater.
So porn theater is like
porn on the screen sitting
on
there.
the screen.
Yeah, on the screen. Yeah.
Okay. So
not like Amsterdam. Not like Amsterdam where you're like live.
Okay, that's what I was picturing.
America could have been in Amsterdam, but we don't have that cool we don't have a red light. We don't have a cool like situation like
America,
that.
I feel like is constantly like wanting to and like no, and then wanting to and then no, and it's like can't keep up.
There's always sex, power, and control, right? It all comes together.
Huge thing.
Yeah, and that's why Europe's like, what are you talking about? Because they're so liberated in that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
In that way, but everybody has their issues.
Yeah.
But
this is true.
But so that's kind of my dipping my toe into my curiosity and my interest and my research and my impulse to find out why.
So interesting. Yeah, I'm fascinated. So little plug. Okay. You now have your own show at the Globe Theater.
Yes. So Beauty of Burlesque at the Globe Theater, and Alyssa, of course, is one of our stars. Our Little Mermaid, as of now, for the Little Mermaid. Who knows what else she'll be doing? But and the lovely Lampshade. You play a lot of characters in the show.
I
do. And that's what's fantastic about the show too, is that there's so much talent in our cast and the willingness and desire to be on stage that we all intersect and play cameos in one another's acts. And I think that is such a professional way to show humility and support. And it shows such a team spirit in a show. I really love that. And then casting it, that willingness to do that was so important. And that's like how we met, and I had performed in another show, and I all of a sudden had an emergency and burst a blood vessel in my arm. My whole arm turned purple. And I was just like standing there. I'm like, oh my God. So I went across the road with the producer, and we were in the emergency room. He goes, oh no, but who's going to fill your spot? I was just like, and it was beautiful. My wife, Katrina, filled my role because her and I wrote the song, so she lip synced my song. And then when it came time to getting in the glass, you were coming as a guest to see the show. And then they ran downstairs in the mall to get you on like a full lingerie set, and then threw you in the cup, and you girl like took it. And I was like, she is insanely talented in her own skills, but that shows such like your character. Because the amount of people that said no.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you didn't even know the show. I was just like, that
oh my God,
is a professional who loves the stage. Truly. And that kind of spirit is something that in all the years I've done this, is so valuable. Even more than the skill set. That character goes so far. And so I was like, she's on my team now.
I love it.
Whether you knew it or not, I knew. And I literally came back from the hospital. I was like, I can't miss the act.
I was so surprised you were there. It's like,
I shouldn't have been there. But I was sitting there in the audience. I was like, and my arm was like black and blue, and I'm like, I should be at home right now, but have to see my girl sing my song, and I have to see Alyssa get in this cup. So it was fabulous. And also, when do I get a chance to watch?
That's true. Yeah,
I've never get to watch the show, so I was like, I will still not miss this show for anything.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah,
God.
It's so funny because I always tell people, I've had a pretty successful career.
Yes.
And it's not, now I've cultivated a lot of skill and talent, and I'm proud of what I've done. But when I started, I just remember when I first moved to Hollywood and I took my first dance class, and I was like, oh my God.
You're like, what am I doing?
In the back, like, this is so embarrassing. I am so bad.
Well, it's humbling though.
The tumbling always carried me through, but then when it came to like, contemporary ballet, hip hop,
You're like, this isn't my niche,
yeah,
but
I was
I'm going
like,
to find it.
not my thing. And then I found circus and I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And it still wasn't amazing. You know, it took, I mean, like anything, it takes time. I knew I had a natural, well, from the gymnastics,
ability
natural,
to,
but then really getting good took time. But what really, I think, kind of catapulted my career was the fact that I was the on-call girl. So
the willingness.
Like, yes, anytime they needed somebody, I was like,
girl.
I'm there. I will come. I need to be there in an hour. I'm there. 5 minutes, I'm down the street, you know? And like, what do you need me to do? And like, no drama. I'll get on stage and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's that oddly is really
that's more valuable than this than
valuable.
Because you could be so talented and a pain in the ass.
And it's like, all right, I'm not getting hired again.
And there's so much like that people can tolerate, because at the end of the day, we all have to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And it's a team effort.
Truly.
And there's so many people that are equally as valuable as the people on stage that don't get seen.
Yes.
And they're equally as talented and skilled. And so it really is, I always speak about my acts as a we, whether I'm solo or with a lot of people on stage, because there's no way I could perform that number without more than 3 or 4 people, because it is a team when it comes to the lighting, the stage managing, the producing, the just the organizing of all of our documents. Like, it's so much a business that it is a company, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And so for every moment there is a group of people. So it that team spirit, that yes and energy is the most important, I think, skill to cultivate.
Definitely.
Once it comes like to the I'm the star and everybody's my minions, that energy,
it's a hard
growing up in LA too, you know, like I grew up here, my family's been here for 5 or 6 generations, and just being from here instead of moving here, you know so deeply that character. But what I had to learn growing up is the attitude of the diva, right? Or I hate using the word the diva, because the diva has been used in a negative way, and it's such like a positive word, but like the entitlement is something that comes with the fantasy of moving or being in Hollywood, that it strips people of the willingness to get as much under their belt as they can. Right. That's very it honestly true. Is just more self-sabotaging than anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But you know, everybody has to learn their lessons their own way.
Yeah, this is
But when I saw you, I was like, that's a ride or die girl right there.
Oh my God.
And it's not just a bowl of water. You're getting in a bowl of milk. And when I saw you put your hair in it and whip it, I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't hate me when she realizes she just dunked her head in milk. And you were like, I was feeling it. I'm like, good for you, but wash your hair.
My hair was weird for a few days after that.
She was just like,
Oh,
and I was like, get it.
Well, it's so funny because I had just like put purple in my hair, like literally a few hours before that. And I don't know if I showed you guys, but I had a purple line down my forehead, and I posted all of this on Instagram.
You were a rock and roll girl. You lived it. You were giving that candy cane glass a run for its money. You were like, y'all don't even know what you're getting tonight.
Yeah. It's like, you want me to splash my hair in water?
Yeah. Milk.
You know who I am.
Milk.
Oh, milk. Yeah. I just remember too, as I was climbing in.
You're like, why is it milky?
And it was like kind of clumpy too. And I was like, don't think about it. We're going in. We're going in.
So when I created that act, I never thought I would be doing it as frequently as I have. Really? And there's become a lot of challenges with dumping yourself in a bowl of milk like 60 shows in a row, which is not an exaggeration. Like, genuinely, Christmas is like the time. I'm like, holiday vacation, who? I don't have that. I go, I am at the North Pole. So I have to like rotate panties. I have to disinfect and clean. I have a sponge. We have to use boiling water. And so I try to use vegan powdered milk. It's a whole nightmare. I end up just
Oh my
throwing away
gosh.
underwear after a while, like the G-strings. We just
Yeah,
we
I
got a
bet.
rotation.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
interesting thing about burlesque is that you really are you're learning so many different skills. Like even I remember the first day I came in to rehearse for your show, you had your iPad and you were designing this beautiful flyer, and I was
Oh my
like,
God. Oh yeah.
I could never just the
Yes.
skill and the
Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, how would they know? But yeah,
Yeah.
like I do all the web design. Somebody recently asked me, like, who designed your website? Could you design, like, who? I go,
Wow.
I did, but I'll take on the job to design your website. And they're like, and then they get tentative. I don't know why, but you know,
Interesting.
yeah, I had to be
All the things.
self-taught because
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to pay people to do these things.
Right.
So, you know, I'm like, okay, so I want a badass website. Let me go research and study the websites I love and figure out how to do this. So I did all the coding, all that stuff.
Wow.
I do all the video mapping. I design and do any video mapping that's in our shows, learn those techniques. I do all the flyers. I used to take all of my own photos and edit them. But, you know,
Wow.
I think one of the best things that lead, like if you have the curiosity and the spirit, you can teach yourself so much now. And that's like my favorite part about the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
So like if you want it, just go get it.
Go
you
get
know?
it.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
Yeah, you have to put in the time, the hours, and the research and the classes or in the education or the YouTube video. You have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much about law. I've learned so much about business. I've learned so much through burlesque that is so much like 10% of the gig is the time on stage.
Right.
Everything else is all these other things, but I have an equal passion for the business and the building as I do being the moment on stage.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's important.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love business. I think it's so
gosh.
fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. It's very fascinating. I think there needs to be more women, you know, beyond just entrepreneurs, but women that really take a hold of that. And there's such like I'll even have like celebrity clients shook and shocked that I don't have a manager or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like I have a production manager and I have a booking like manager that technically just like manages the emails, but every decision comes to me. You know what I mean? So I don't have an agent or a manager in the traditional sense. And I've had like celebrity customers go, so how have you accomplished this without all this? Because so many of them were young, picked up, not in control of their image.
Right.
And it's so fascinating to me. I'm like, but you are so successful. What are you asking me about this for? And there's like a want and a need to claim their autonomy and control their brand and their image.
Yeah.
It's just, and that those conversations I've had have been like alerted me to, oh, I'm doing something great. Even though I might not be as financially successful or publicly successful as the people I'm talking to here, there is value in having control over my entire creative world.
Yeah.
And it's given me so much like satisfaction with where I am, and maybe don't have the desire to have the public stalkers. Like I feel for them.
For sure.
They can't leave their house. Like I don't want that life.
No,
I want to go to I want to go to the beach when I want to go. I want to go walk it down the street when I want to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I really feel privileged to be in the niche that I am, be able to be on stage and give to an audience, and be in control of it, but also have my freedom.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm like pretty good.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
that's I don't have an agency for live performance, but I have a modeling agency.
Yeah.
And people always try to get me to join their agencies, and I refuse to leave mine. I mean, not only. Primarily, one of the biggest reasons for me is that I have hired them to work for me.
Yeah, so they're at service to you as the.
I choose my image.
Yes,
they go with it.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah. Whereas other agencies are usually like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and then they create this image for me that I'm like,
is not your image.
Yeah.
It's very, and I think having the confidence, because a lot of, I think just growing up in Hollywood is like the fantasy of being the star in whatever capacity, movie star, model, whatever capacity it is, star and whatever influencer, is that, oh, you don't need to worry your pretty head about the business stuff.
Yeah.
It's boring and difficult, and like you just be the artist. Oh, no. That's how your money gets stolen from you. And it's like, why can't that person be in control of their assets?
Definitely.
And know how to account and understand the verbiage in their contracts and have that manager or agent work with them and for them. Instead of, oh, just don't. And that's how people get taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
And they think that like you can be creative and inspired and have the time for your art while also managing and maintaining your assets.
Definitely.
But it's a very like hot take. It's a very, people will be like, oh girl. But but seriously, it's just the truth of what I've lived. And I've been just very strict about it. And
that's great.
And I think it, especially like being a queer woman in business, it's something that, is powerful to be like to show people that it's possible to do that. And it's a male dominated business is male dominated, period. So it's possible.
100%. It's more work,
Oh, it's far more work than the men are doing. Yeah. And if it's not your passion, it's not your passion. But it's something worth considering.
Definitely. Well, and I almost feel like something that I've always wondered about, because when I was a kid, I grew up Asian. I am Asian.
You are Asian. Still Asian.
Still Asian.
Yes. I'm beautifully Asian.
Thank you. I grew up in an Asian culture.
Yes.
Which, I have a lot of resentment towards, which is why I don't identify with it in my...
That's challenging.
It's really odd. It's really odd. Like, I really identify with the Latin culture, which I grew up in.
Yes.
But I'm not Latin at all.
I can understand. Yes.
Yeah, but I have a lot of resentment towards the Asian culture. But growing up in the Asian culture, I always considered myself, I was top student of my class because I had to be. That's just the requirement.
The cultural pressure.
Yep, yeah. So I always valued that I was smart. I valued that I read books. I was writing books as soon as 5th grade. I was like very educationally inclined.
Yeah.
But there was always this stigma, even as a kid, of like, you're either ugly and smart or you're pretty and dumb.
Me and Katrina were talking about these today, those tropes. Yeah,
very. And like, even as a kid, it was like almost like society very quickly ingrained that in me. And I always thought I was ugly.
Because you were smart.
Because I was smart,
wow.
And I was also socially awkward because I spent so much time in my books. I didn't really know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
So I had a very distinct moment when I saw all the beautiful girls in front of me. And I was like, you know what? It's okay because I'm smart and I'd rather be the smart girl than the pretty one. Which, like, honestly, like, I was pretty proud that I was like comfortable with myself and like, being like an intellectual.
But you weren't allowed to be intelligent and beautiful and to value both of those things within yourself. Yeah. And that's not, and that's subjective to what everybody thinks is beautiful or what everybody thinks is smart, but you felt like you had to choose.
Yeah, which was odd. And
an identity, like you had to make an identity choice and settle and be okay with that.
Right. And I was in like 4th grade,
That's a huge identity factor. Yeah.
So it's interesting because
you were taught that women can't be beautiful and intelligent.
Yes. And so when I grew up later and became a model, which was not my plan at all.
Rocked your world. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I was like, and I had been, quote unquote, in the smart category for 20 plus years of my life. So then to switch suddenly to be in the beautiful category.
Yeah. And then probably to take, like, to shift your perspective on modeling. I'm sure you had a lot of assumptions about that too. Similar experience with me is that I was always a loner, and I was asked recently if I was a cheerleader, and I said, oh baby, far from it.
Same, I was not either.
Far from it. You would have been a fantastic cheerleader.
I could flip.
Yeah.
But I didn't join because I had that stigma in my head.
Y'all, there would be no way I'd be flipping. Like, the hips are not going over my head.
Oh my God.
As much as I have crunched my way to try to get my butt over my head in
my gosh.
so many ways it is not happening. But anyways, no matter how strong or limber. But, you know, there was a similar thing that I experienced where I was obsessed with dance, and I would dance like 40 hours a week plus going to high school. So it's just like socializing wasn't my priority. I would be like in the teacher's art room drawing and then leave school, go straight to dance, you know. And so that was my life, was the discipline and all of that. And then I injured myself, and then I was like, my career is over, because you gotta going to be a ballerina, which there's no way with my ass I was going to be a ballerina. So I was like, I gotta be a ballerina. And so I thought it was all over, but I had this art portfolio. I just applied to art school, and then I got in on a scholarship, and I was just boom in Chicago, knew nobody, freezing my tits off, just figuring it out. But I was always in the fine art classes, and because I didn't fit the aesthetic of the, for whatever reason, I was perceived and it really shook me, because I wasn't always like, I was never like the popular girl. So to now be treated like that in the art school setting, like oh, you're dumb, you're pretty, and I was like, what? And I was so confused, and I was really ripped to shreds, and I'm like, I just love painting portraits. What are you talking about? And so everyone's like, well, you're just a dumb girl in the fashion department. And I had this assumption that fashion was superficial. I had such stigma, and like you said, like the tropes that are assigned to us. Like I was like, in order to be an artist, I gotta hate all these things. And I was bullied by the art school people. So I was like, great, I don't fit in the high school group. Now I don't fit in with the art school kids. And they're making fun of me as though I'm a fashion student, but I've never taken a fashion class. I was like, maybe I should take a fashion class and see what the hell this is about.
Oh my god.
And I fell in love with it, learned a skill, became really good at it, got sponsored by Swarovski, had my collections win awards, and I was like, well, damn, I'm supposed to do this. And my fashion professors rocked my world. One was blew my mind, because I was like, oh, clothing superficial, and she goes, one of the universal languages humans speak is what we wear. Everything we put on our bodies signals what group we belong to, what job we want.
That's so
and she goes, there's power in it. You can be a victim of it, and or you can use it as a language to say what you want to say. And then I built my career. And I knew that I wanted to take the Hollywood bombshell trope and make her, you know, and flip her on her head, liberate her, because the blonde bombshell was always objectified for being stupid and sexy. So I go, okay, well, I love this cabaret I'm doing. I'm coming out. I'm working in a strip club. All these elements brought it together. I was like, what if I'm just this like femme, you know, queer bombshell, and everything I'm doing is not for the male gaze. This is who I am. And of course, this wasn't like an instant thought. This is like developing my art over time. And that was my mission statement, you know, to really shift the perspective on what that visual symbol means. There's so many assumptions about it, right? But it goes back to what you were saying, where you're like going into modeling, you're like, oh, I thought that these girls had to be dumb, and I'm sure you learned that there was so much intelligence in it.
Oh my gosh. Like,
and you're like, oh,
it was amazing.
You're like, what? And you're like, what is beauty? What is beautiful? What is intelligent? How can these things not come together? And I think just patriarchal society divides what women are allowed to do and be, to reduce our power and our confidence, and to pitch us against each other. So definitely, women can be beautiful and intelligent. And whatever that beauty is subjective. You know, everyone's beautiful. So like really, everyone is so beautiful.
Truly, and that's the
beautiful. What is ugly is the bullshit, the bullshit that's put onto people, and the tearing each other down.
Definitely. So true. It's really incredible, and it's really, really fascinating. And you know, and it's true, like that's a couple things I love about burlesque is that it does celebrate all women's body types, and it is interesting, especially bringing on guests onto the podcast and seeing, I always say, like, seeing your day person, you know, like seeing you in your natural form.
I thought,
you know?
I thought that was appropriate for your podcast to come in my reduced like glamour, because that's how we are in rehearsal together.
Totally.
And I don't usually, you know, a part of just branding is like presenting myself in my these amps go to 11 kind of self. And instead I was like, today this is, you know, reflective of our relationship and how we work together and our connection. So it's important to show the reality of the journey,
the real person and the image. And I do love, though, every time
there's no shame in showing up with your hair not curled.
Right. Yes, we're still real people,
because it's not realistic.
Okay. Yeah, there's no way.
No.
But I love, though, that each person, they still have like the glimmer of their burlesque persona.
Oh, cool.
Also.
I love that. Yeah.
Like how you have your pastels, you know, and like, I don't know if you know Miss Marquez, you know, she still came wearing like her animal print and her green, you know, and like I still keep a little bit of leather.
It's your uniform. It's your uniform. You know?
It's great. And it's so cool to see how we have these personalities that are just amplified in rhinestones or, you know, chains and whatever, you know, but
rhinestones and chains. I love that.
That's how my brain
That's
works.
your new show title.
Right? Oh my God, I love that.
You heard it first. It's hers now.
Yes, there it is. Yeah. But I think, I don't know if you feel this in any kind of sense, but I know for me, the way I dress, for a while, I didn't really understand why I dress the way I dress, you know, because it is like, I don't have any shirts that don't expose my stomach.
Hell yeah.
They all expose my stomach.
Good for you, girl. Yeah. Hell yeah.
But I kind of realized over time, I mean, one, I think I just don't like clothing on my skin. I think that it's just like a texture thing where I'm like, I need to move. And
she's like, just let me be a nudist,
let
y'all.
me just run. Because I'm always like, I'm the opposite. Yeah. I'm always upside down.
Yeah.
So it's like having a lot of clothes. I'm like, but I can't handstand in this in a second, you know?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
But I've realized too that it's almost become, somebody pointed out to me, they're like, oh, you're very rebellious. And I'm like, am I? You know?
Yeah.
And I realized, well, I think I naturally have a statement of rebellion, because it's like the whole, well, you can't be smart and pretty. You can't be this. You can't be that. You can't. And I'm like, I'm going to be what I want to be.
Hell yeah.
So I almost feel like sometimes I do subconsciously wear more revealing clothing as a way of saying,
as a statement,
it's my body.
Yeah.
It's my body. I'm going to show it or not show it if I want.
That's powerful.
What are you going to do about it? You know?
You're like, meet my dog.
Yeah, exactly.
When she has the biggest, most beautiful baby girl, she's like, come at me and my dog.
Truly.
It's fabulous. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I usually let her stay down here and make her little cameo.
She's sweet. Yeah.
But,
she got a little excited today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of, and today I'm like, I don't feel like dealing
She'd
with
be like,
it.
jump.
Yeah.
Jump. Yeah. No, she was sweet. But no, but that kind of energy is powerful. And it's, I think that the acceptance that we are different and appreciating everyone's version of expression, as long as it comes with harm to none.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want your freedom of expression to harm people. That is, you know, important, but it's killing it. You're killing it.
It's like you said, you know, when you have to wear all the different hats and you're like editor, videographer, sound person.
That's the power of tech now. I love it. Yeah. I commend you. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Some days I'm like on the computer and I want to cry. I'm just like, it's okay.
It's okay. Yes, you're smart and beautiful.
Yes.
See?
Oh my gosh, it does exist.
And so much more.
And so much more.
Wildly talented. Wildly physically
gosh.
Talented.
Thank you, girl.
And deeply disciplined, which is highly, you know, commendable.
Right. You know, I always say, like, even though I struggled growing up Asian, I am thankful for it. And as hard of a childhood it was, like, I am very thankful for it because
for the discipline.
Yeah. And
discipline is valuable.
It is.
I think there are healthier ways to be disciplined. Yeah. I also grew up very hypocritically disciplined. I was disappointed. My dad didn't have to be.
Oh.
But I had to be. So, you know, the hypocrisy there. And you're like, double standard.
Right.
But now I'm the traditional boring one. You know, so it all just evolves.
So wild.
But, you know, back to your question.
Yes.
So you asked me about my coming out and meeting my wife now.
Yes.
And so that journey. And, you know, it's important because I feel like an elder gay now, because when I was coming out, the elder gays would be like, well, it wasn't the same when I came out. And, you know, and it's not the same for people coming out now as when I did, or when we did, my partner and I. But I don't see that as a negative. I'm like, thank God it's not the same, you know? But there are always going to be different hurdles that I didn't face that people have to face now coming out as young people. And not that I'm like old, like I'm 35, right? But still generationally, like that teen to early 20s was my coming out journey. So, you know, I grew up, like I said, in a household that was basically like Animal House, like frat house, right? And I had no queer people or you know, I was just around like surfer bros, beach bros, and their babes, right? So I didn't have any kind of diversity. I was like, okay, so I know I'm like, do I have to be like one of the babes with the beach bros? But like, I know that I'm not like them. And then I would be a part of like, you know, a group of girls, and they'd all talk about boys. And I just was like, I'm so interested in something else, or like, I'm not really like crushing on this person. And I remember I had a high school boyfriend who I really loved, but he didn't go to my high school. And so I'm thinking back on it, and I'm like, oh, I was unavailable because my boyfriend went to a different high school.
Right.
So all these subconscious choices that I didn't realize I was doing out of my queerness. So it wasn't until I moved away, I went to school in Chicago, that I found the Boys Town community. And obviously, being an art school, a lot of diverse identities and expressions, right? So what happened though was I, you know, was like, okay, well, I'm exploring, I'm experimenting, I'm going to parties, I'm having my own identity. And I really had this like sexual romantic connection with a girl that lived across the hall in the dorm. And I was like really like in this moment, but in my patriarchal conditioned mind, I broke this girl's heart because I then all of a sudden got a boyfriend. And I was like, but we weren't actually together because I can't be with a girl. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I thought we were dating. And I'm like, how could we be dating? And so that really shook me. It shook me. And I was like, but then I still went into this relationship with somebody I love deeply. But we both, him and I, had a lot of queer like energy, but we didn't know what to call it, right? So he had his attractions, I had mine. We had a very sexually open relationship. But again, my queerness was oriented around sex and not love. And I think people talk about queerness and sex, but really being a queer person is being able to live the life of committing to a partner of the same sex. And that comes with so much. Sex is like 0.1% of a life journey with another human being.
Definitely.
And so I went through this journey, and really my deep coming out, and I don't talk about this often, is I got pregnant with my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, wow.
And it was a whole identity awakening. And I was like, this is not the family structure. And I know I'm gay, and I can't raise my kids in this way.
Oh my gosh.
So I didn't have my babies, and I came out and I went full committed into who I am.
Wow.
And I had to, and I realized, oh my God, I really have to be, I don't want to be 45 and come out to my children and go, whoa, I haven't been authentic to myself this whole time.
Wow.
And so it's been a huge catalyst in my journey, and something deeply, I want to be a mother so deeply. And I loved the guy that I was with, but it was not our journey. You know what I mean? I love him as a person, but we were not meant to be life partners because I'm gay.
Yeah.
You know? I'm so gay, and it doesn't mean I didn't love this person, but it just was, there was something that isn't about me finding the right partner, but it was something about being authentic to who I am. And queerness is so much deeper than sex. It is about who you are as a person and how you love. And so I talk to people a lot about this question, right? And so they're like, okay, how did you and Katrina meet? And I talk to women a lot, especially some like bi-curious girls, and they'll go, yeah, well, I really want, a girlfriend on the side, but I got my boyfriend. And I said, well, and this is my opinion.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that people agree with me, right? But this is my opinion, my point of view from my experience, is that being in a same-sex relationship as a woman, right? And whether you're trans woman, cis woman, but like being in a relationship with two female identifying people, you immediately surrender any privilege that you would have being with a man.
Wow.
You accept that you will not have the same social protections of showing up with any masked or male presenting individual. And you accept that you will be the provider and protector for your spouse. Wow. And adopt the social and societal expectations of being a provider and protector. And so as a woman, not only is it hard to be a woman in this world, but now you have to provide and protect another woman the way a man would.
Wow.
And so loving another woman is so brave because the world is already set up against women, but you have literally no connection in your relationship to the privileges of being with a masked or male individual.
That's wild.
And so that is the deeper root of my queer identity, is accepting that beyond not needing a man, like I will also be a woman responsible for the male roles.
Wow.
Yeah. The roles of being a father, roles of being a man in business, the roles of being a protector if somebody breaks in, the role of providing, these things that are expected just socially in relationships. Right. How do you show up as two women where society goes, women can't, and then you're together and then facing all of that. So there's something so much deeper than just like, this is how I like to get off when I have sex. Like it's so much deeper, but like really loving another woman is so like rebellious against the patriarchy. I don't know what more it could be, but loving, like I'm going to be at your deathbed if you die before me. Wow. Like I'm going to be there when, one of us loses a limb or, and so I think also another layer to my relationship with Katrina is we're both so clearly faced by mortality in just both of our experiences with disabilities that we know inevitably we are, disabled in different ways. Like I have seizures, she has physical disabilities. So we know that like we're already faced with mortality that I feel like we love deeper, just as an interabled couple. But most people live their life not knowing or facing their mortality until they're a certain age and their body gives way, but we're already like born with that. So we're like, so we're facing a lot of interesting, a lot of interesting, not challenges, but we get a really rich point of view from just our relationship alone. But then how we met is, we've been friends for over a decade.
Wow.
We met on Facebook. A drag queen friend of ours, Detox, introduced us. Okay. I went to meet up with her, which I thought was a date, was not a date. I got friend zoned so hard. It was a John Waters burlesque show, and she clearly was just like down for me to be a homie. And then she was like, bye. And I was like, oh, okay, well, not a date. Deeply embarrassed, here alone, leaving alone. And love this girl, though. So enigmatic. I didn't want to lose her in my life. And I was like, she will never know how I really feel because I don't want to scare her away. And then, 10 years later, I'm going through a breakup. I'm honestly getting pretty apathetic and like over dating. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't. And then she goes, I know this is poor timing, but I have to tell you how I really feel, and I was just like, best like a plot twist for my life at that time.
Wow.
And I was just like so excited. She's like, no pressure, just I need to get this off my chest. I've been carrying this for 10 years. I was like, girl, we could have been doing this for how long?
Oh my God.
We always say we needed to grow up and become the versions of ourselves now. Exactly. Instead of learning those learning curbs with each other, we wouldn't have been able to stay together. So we had to mature and grow, and we arrived in our friendship and then in our romance was so much sweeter. And then we had the deep, deep trust built of a 10-year friendship and relationship.
Yeah.
But also it's amazing how friendship changes when romance comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my history. It's
interesting.
We all go through so much in life, and it's just fascinating. We I think hyper intellectualize and like cut everything. Like, let's talk. How did this happen? This happened. And two Pisces, we can talk for days. But,
oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's, and I'm really excited to see how moving through life in my older years and in with the new generations of young queer people, and just to see how everything grows and changes.
Right.
Yeah. And then being a queer elder, it's going to be a really fascinating trip I'm on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited too that we get to hear her side of the story next.
Oh yeah,
and,
she's gonna spill the tea.
Double sides too.
I give context. She'll give the comedy and the truth.
Oh my gosh.
She'll be like, this time when we were.
Oh my gosh, how funny! I'm so glad you said that though, because I had made a comment on one of my podcasts, and I'm divorced. Did I tell you? I'm divorced, so my podcast.
Did you have a party? Have you ever performed for a divorce party?
I have not.
Well, we need to have you. I don't know how long it's been.
Actually, it's been 8, 7
I performed
years
for a
now.
birth, a funeral, and a divorce party.
Oh my God! A funeral, a birth. Whoa!
Yeah.
My brain just exploded.
Didn't know I was performing for the birth.
Okay.
Knew I was performing for the funeral. Wow. But yeah, the divorce party.
Divorce, I definitely support how I was way too traumatized. I was like running for my life, so I was like, I was, and I had.
Well, we don't have to uproot it. We don't have to uproot it. We don't have to uproot it. But yeah, so
why did I bring this up?
So divorce. Sorry.
Oh, so no, you're good.
Yeah.
So I had brought up on the podcast how I think it's so funny because I never know what's gonna pop off and what's gonna like make people freak out. But I had made a comment how like, for me, if I'm gonna get serious with somebody, I need a good year of figuring out who you are before I'm like, I want to spend my life with you.
That's totally reasonable.
It makes so much, to me, it makes so much sense.
Honestly, the 5 year, because if you can't make it past 5 years, then also who has time?
Yeah, that's true too. It's like,
it's really hard. You're like, it's another 5 years of my life.
yeah. And it's like, what if I'm wrong, but even still, and I think that's why, like, do I want to say this on the podcast? You know what? Yeah, I do. I have always struggled with traditional dating, probably because in my Asian culture, I wasn't allowed to. I was never allowed to see my boyfriends.
Yeah.
So they really loved me, but I spent so little time with them. Which is why, like, when the timing when me and my ex-husband got together is like we got married so fast, You
didn't have enough experience to see the red flags.
I had no experience, which was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so, my 20s, I got to figure out how to date and made a lot of fumbles.
Good. Yeah.
But figured it out.
And that's healthy too, I think.
Which another thing, we had a reel about how good it is to be single in your 20s, and people freaked out about that. Men freaked out about that too. And I was like, How odd.
God, I wish I was. I invested way too much energy, money, and time and attention on people that didn't deserve it. I wish I gave to myself.
It's really good. You figure out. So I was just a free bird. I traveled. I did everything I wanted.
Fabulous.
I made mistakes. I learned lessons. Such a valuable time, especially having already been married once and knowing what it's all about. It's like you want to understand these things about yourself before you merge with another person.
Yes. It's a huge commitment. It's a life commitment that goes beyond, you know, you're willing to be there for each other when your bodies start falling apart. And
yes.
That's really the commitment.
Huge. Yeah. And I think, and I'm going to venture out and say, because we're in entertainment where our bodies are such a big part of our work. And
it is the work.
Our image. Yeah. It's like, I know I have to know, I'm so much more, people are so impressed by my body that I have to know, do you like me past my body?
Yeah.
Will you be there if I fall when I'm paralyzed?
Well, because, you know, because there's one thing that is true is we will all be disabled if we live long enough.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
And people act like they won't, and that mobility is permanent, and it's not. So love is really about that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because
oh my gosh,
because body and beauty isn't.
No.
It is the most temporary gig we got.
Really is.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of taking time to get to know. And I've always struggled traditionally dating, and I need kind of more of like a friendship banter, like, oh, are we getting romantic? Oh, are we getting sexual? What are we doing? Oh, maybe we got sexual, now we're just friends again. But that kind of dance is like kind of how I really come to understand a person and be like, oh yeah, you are who I want for the rest of my life. We kind of just learned and watched each other too.
That's why I like the term life partner, because it's less about, I think when we think about relationships in general, not we, but just like the public and people and music and songs, relationships are about sex and vitality. Do you know how many men are up on Viagra? Like, we gotta be real. Like sex and vitality, and there's literally no shame in that either, but sex and vitality is so temporary. And not that you can't continue to have fabulous sex into like your 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond, because people get horny in their later years too. But people, I think that people in their youth and their midlife are so detached from the reality of, like I said, their mortality, that we date for more superficial reasons, and we think it's love, and it's not. You know, and love is so much deeper than body and whatever we consider to be, like, I hate the word beauty because I think beauty is aging, you know. The privilege of aging is fucking fantastic. And the liberation you get from aging, you know, from elders that I talk to or friends, like the liberation you get when you're free from your vanity, your beauty, your youth. Oh my God, I can't wait for that time in life. It's gonna be badass. I'm gonna do so much more.
Wow.
Oh my God, when I'm not, when there's not the opinions and standards and things put on the youth, I'm gonna be like, I just know there's gonna be so much more freedom in what I do, what I say, what I wear, how I go about shit. Katrina and I are gonna be on our blinged out, like, fucking scooters, living life on some cruise somewhere. It's gonna be fabulous.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's us already, but but like, girl, like, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Definitely. So back into like, what you're saying, it's you know, there's so much expectation. But it's hard for people. I got so lucky that my best friend felt the same way that I did about her. And I'm not saying that we don't also have like fabulous, wonderful, wild sex, because we do. We do. And that's for us to know. Right. But we do, but that isn't the core. Well, purpose.
In any real relationship. That's not what it's about. So.
Because you just never know what's going to happen to the body. I have so many badass friends. I have a friend that's a disabled skateboarder. She has no legs, and she is incredible world record holder, breaking it, but her energy and her like it's just, you know, and the thing about the disabled community, you don't want to be like, oh, bless your heart, you're so inspiring. Right. But what's inspiring to me about her, beyond just like how she moves through life, is the like her sexiness and her power and her connection to life. And I think people that live with disabilities, especially through their youth, have so much more freedom when it comes to living.
True.
Yeah, and when I say that, it's because they are already faced with the reality of mortality, the reality of obstacles, and they have to really, really fight against the world that wasn't designed for them. Yeah, definitely. And to get to that place of like passion and peace and love, and then she just got married to this handsome fucking dude, and they're riding motorcycles together. You know what I mean? Like there is so much life to be lived that able-bodied people fear that life so deeply. You meet these people that are like, once a girl gets a wrinkle, they're trading another girlfriend. And it's like, and that man acts like he's not going to be, you know, in a wheelchair, and they're like, I'd rather be dead. You hear people say shit like this, and you're like, what a superficial, limited perception in life, and how you are not fully taking advantage of the able body you're gifted, because you don't know what shark's going to bite your legs off tomorrow. True. Which doesn't happen very often. But you know, like you see this shit, or you don't know what car accident you're going to be in, or you know, you don't know what's going to happen. And so it's and that your life doesn't end with your mobility, your wrinkle, your like, it doesn't end. It honestly begins, and is probably going to be richer, sexier, and more beautiful.
I love it.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think people like in the able-bodied community talk so much about just like the fear of raisening, like wrinkling, that they're not even thinking about like the fear of mobility and these things. And I'm like, y'all, like life is so rich and beautiful. Yeah. Definitely. So finding that friend is like absolutely, girl, you deserve so much. Keep your standards high.
I do. Well, and on that note, I think that's a great point to end on. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hell yeah.
Miss Tosh.
Thank you.
Come see the show.
You come see this beautiful, beautiful, strong, powerful, and wickedly intelligent woman.
And her too.
Fall from the frickin' 4-story ceiling.
Truly. Yep. That's
in
my
a
job.
thong.
Yes.
What?
Better. What more do you want?
This woman is incredible to witness.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously.
So honored to work with you.
Oh, me too.
I
love you. Adore you.
I love you too. Yay.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I will see you in another 2 weeks, and you'll get to see Miss Tosh.
I am a Mrs.
Yeah, Mrs. Tosh.
Mrs. Tosh. Mrs. Tosh is going to be here.
See you then.
All right. If we come to a place of loving and appreciating true diversity and difference, and like, you know, somebody might be like, I don't want to wear a belly shirt, but God, that girl is loving her life in her belly shirt. You know, if we come to like, we don't want everybody to be like ourselves. That would be boring. Yeah. But I think another thing is we're so in these mirrors with our phones showing us everything that we like and we want and we desire, that it actually is an illusion of like, you're only seeing what you enjoy. Yeah. So being faced by something that counters that is shocking, right? So it's we're in a difficult time, especially, you know, when it comes to women's bodies and expression and fashion. And that's why, you know, in the show that we're in together, you know, or the show I produce, and it's always like a key thing with Beauty of Burlesque, that there is shock value and pushing the limit on what people assume it to be, you know. And I think even the word beauty of burlesque, like putting the word beauty in there, is really controversial, because it's like, oh, who are they to tell me it's beautiful? And the point of the whole thing is that beauty is diverse, and beyond body and race and sexual orientation, but in skill and expression and public opinion and statement.
Yeah.
And so I'm not afraid to put a host that might say something controversial or an act that pushes the limits.
Right.
And I think that art is meant to make people feel something.
Yeah.
Right? So
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna go to a performer, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
like, I gotta let you go because you upset a customer.
Yeah.
You know, I want, because of the art, you know what I mean? Like your art offended, so sorry girl, you gotta go.
Right,
Like, what?
right.
Like that is so opposite of where
Wow.
I live, and I live in a place of like art is meant to make people feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And the amount of times people have stood up and walked out of my acts because they're expecting they're expecting my numbers to be palatable and just like, you know, standard. But you know, I have some numbers with some really strong social public statements that they're not expecting.
Wow.
And that's the point. It's just
Yeah.
to be surprised.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
and these statements are important, and they're like,
Yeah.
how dare you know, have Marilyn Monroe sing about dildos being a girl's best friend and make her gay. And I'm like, well, she was historically bisexual, you know, and like these things. And, you know,
Yeah.
I get called Marilyn all the time. So, but what if Marilyn was a dyke like me? So, you know, it's really social statements. And my God, does that one piss people off?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, wow, but the point of burlesque itself is the word itself means satire. And so we're supposed to be using this art form as a blue collar, working class community of people to make fun of and commentary on social structures, political, social commentary.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to stir it up. So it's very punk rock.
Yeah, it truly
It's
is.
really punk.
It really is.
And people are like, oh, how do you find yourself in these punk communities? Like, we were just hanging out with Peaches recently. And I'm like, well, because we're not glamorous to appease people, but we're using glamour as a punk statement to send a message, right? And I think that is one of the key things that differentiates me from the other burlesque stars in the world. I think that there's a lot of beautiful shows that play it safe.
Yeah, this is true.
And I like to teeter the line on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And the people I cast are people that are specifically doing that in their personal lives, within their personal work. So I need like the rebels.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's why too, when I filled in for you and I hadn't met you, I was nervous and I asked him, I was like, are you sure do you want me to go crazy? Because that's what I'm known for, but like,
him and I had to talk about it. I was like, she's got to make it her own.
I love it. Yeah, and now hearing you
She
talk
has
about
zero
it,
rehearsal.
Yeah.
She has like no, she doesn't get a chance to get in it because the audience is watching the show right now.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. I always check in because traditionally burlesque is usually, it's like more slow and glamour, and I'm like, well, I'm, hair flipping, just all over the place,
But it's like your personality, your version of it. And then even though like my version, like I really take the classic expected image, and then I throw like what's actually being sung, what objects are actually being used,
right?
The way I position the body. You're like, wait a minute, what
It
is
is
this subliminal messaging in here?
It's
all intentional, packaged in the glamour bow.
Yeah,
but it's on purpose.
Yeah, and it is very punk rock. It's just like
subversive,
right under it. I love it. I love it.
We're here. We have this one life. I'm like, you gotta go out with a bang. Whatever. That's just my vibe.
Yeah, I